Update. My 23 female best friend 23 female laughed at me and said that my husband 24 male was a catch and that I was lucky if she doesn't take him away. I don't know if I should tell him. Original story. Yesterday, my husband Adam and I hosted a small party at our house to celebrate that we are finally vaccinated. Nothing crazy, just us, 8 or 9 friends and a bunch of food and music. Obviously, my best friend Ava was there, alongside her boyfriend and her sister. My husband and I have known them since I was 16, and they were the ones who introduced me to him. I knew back then that Ava had a crush on Adam, but it seems that he never noticed it. She never told him because they never dated. And as the 16-year-old girl, I felt attracted to him the moment we met. But I never tried or said anything due to my respect and friendship to Ava. At first, Ava could go for hours about how perfect Adam was, and how perfect she was for him. And he has always been funny, and every time we were around him, nobody could stop laughing. Back then, I honestly believed that she was the one who was meant to marry him and not me. But they never had a real conversation and he never tried to really know her. We became closer after our mom started to work at the same grocery shop, because Adam used to drop my mother and sometimes he would stay for dinner. I was honest with Ava the whole time, and she told me that she grew tired of how difficult Adam was, because not long after that she started to date someone else. Maybe a year after that he and I started to date too, and we eventually got married. At some point in the party, the guys took their shirt off and started to battle with his pecs. Adam became a gym rat in his early 20s, so he has a good shape, and Ava started to talk about how much of a hottie he was, that he could hug her and break her on the spot, and that she would say thanks, and that the view could be better if it was only Adam without his shirt off. Mind you, I've never been the jealous type, and I thought that she was joking at first, so I said, "Don't you dare, Ava, he'd choose me after all," and made a random pose. But I guess that I struck a nerve because the face she gave me was the most furious one I've ever seen on her. She took my arm and took me to my bedroom to tell me that I shouldn't be so witchy, and that I shouldn't forget that my husband was a catch because I stole him from her. I was utterly confused, and I tried to apologize for hurting her, but she told me that I was lucky enough if she didn't take him away after that, to help him end his charity work. At the end, that hurt me, but I decided to pretend for the rest of the party. Now my husband has begun to ask me if everything is okay. I know that Ava's gonna apologize to me, but I don't know if I should tell him before or after that, because I know he will be mad at her. Now for the top advice before reading the update. Dump your best friend and tell your husband about it from the start. Yeah, that's awful. I've made jokes to my best friend. They aren't at her expense, it is mutual. She jokes too about men I like/date. About men she's dated, but never out of jealousy or wanting to steal her man. Just silly ones about how attractive they are and hyping her up for getting such a fine, perfect man, etc. But what your friend is doing? That's gross. She obviously hasn't gotten over him not falling for her, and she's taking it out on you, which isn't okay. Dump the friend. She will try to make things worse for you. 1. That's not your best friend. That's not even a friend. And it seems she finally showed her true colors. Say thanks and live your life without her in it. 2. Yeah, you should tell him about it. He will need to understand why she's no longer in your life. I have a feeling he probably knew, and he probably rejected her before, and you never found out about it. This. If or when you do talk to your husband, update please. I want to know if he has ever rejected Ava in the past. Believe people when they provide that moment of clarity and tell you who they really are. She's no friend of yours. She has done the math and decided she is better than you. She thinks you have taken something she was entitled to. One day she will betray you. Keeping her in your life will eventually give her an opportunity she has been waiting for. Cut her out of your life. Tell your husband so he knows to be ready for any possible lies or whatever. But you don't have to tell him she's into him. You just have to tell him that she has demonstrated that she's no longer your friend or to be trusted. 100% this. My life experience has taught me that this is spot on. And now for the update. I want to thank anyone who put some time aside to read me and try to help. A few things happened after that, and the last thing I could think of was getting into Reddit so I didn't answer any comment or message. I'm sorry. First of all, I want to answer the big question. 1. When Adam and I realized that we had feelings for each other, I rejected him at first because I knew that Ava had always wanted to be with him. He tried to take me on a date a few times after, and before I said yes, Ava and I had a long talk. She said that she didn't mind because she was already dating someone else, because again, she felt that Adam was being too hard, and said to take my shot. We began to date after that. So back into what happened. Ava came to my house with a cake that next morning and told me that she was drunk, that she was sorry and didn't know why she said what she said. I gathered some courage after reading your comments and asked her if she still had feelings for my husband, and she said that she wasn't sure. But more than having feelings, she felt humiliated because he never even looked at her twice but felt drawn to me. She said that she was still attracted to him, but nothing that involved real feelings. I don't know if she realized that she told me that she wanted to sleep with my husband, but no more than that. I said that even thinking of wanting that was disrespectful, and with everything that she said at the party, I've had enough. She tried to argue about how it wasn't that big of a deal, that it was just overreacting, and to just get over it like I always do and be friends. So I told her that that was the only reason we were still friends, because I always had to suck it up her being so rude all the time in order to maintain the peace. She always has to say something about the way I live my life. And her wanting to sleep with my husband was the last straw. I'd ask her to leave my house, which she did. That same night, I decided to tell Adam what happened. And boy, he was mad as hell. He told me that back then. He knew that Ava had feelings for him, but he never felt the same. And between meeting me and dating me, she started to be more aggressive about it. They even kissed at a party and he stopped talking to her for a few weeks so she would get the message. She never tried anything again, until the nights before we got married when she texted him a nude and said that he still has time to back out from the wedding. He deleted all the messages, never answered her, and decided not to tell me because she was my maid of honor. After that, he decided to just end the friendship with her and focus on other things. When she tried something, even if it was just talk, he would just shove her off and leave the room. My husband apologized for not telling me that before, but assured me that he never gave her reasons to make her think he would leave me, and I believed him. I told him that my friendship with her had ended, and he said that he was sorry because he knew how much I loved her as a friend. That's it, guys. Ava hasn't texted or called, and our relationship's finally over. It took me a big one to realize that she wasn't my friend at all, but that's how life is sometimes. I can't believe she sent something like that to your husband the night before your wedding, and had the audacity to be your maid of honor. That just blows my mind. That's beyond messed up. OP, both you and Adam should block her number and all social media accounts. Also, after the whole picture trying to steal him before he got married, did she try anything else? It seems she kept her relationship with you to stay close and in contact with your husband, manipulating you each time she overstepped boundaries. Good for you for standing up to it. Make sure to take this as the wake-up call. It is that you guys seriously lack communication skills. Not telling you 100% gave your friend the green light that her actions, while deplorable and not returned, were acceptable to him and thus kept it up. Not telling you didn't help anything other than wasted years of friendship with someone who was constantly trying to get with your husband. You did the exact same thing to him by also not immediately telling him. You guys are supposed to be a team. You got so freaking lucky that this worked out the way it did. And it was pure luck. Neither of you got ahead of it and lied by omission to the other. If she hadn't been a complete idiot, she would have used that info to say that he tried to sleep with her. Then you would have had to admit what happened, which would place a big old nugget of doubt in your mind, and slowly this whole thing would have unraveled your lives. You got by with blind luck, and the fact that your friend was a freaking buffoon who didn't take the opportunity you both placed right in her lap. Be better, do better. Let this lesson strengthen your communication and your relationship. Do not make the even bigger mistake of learning nothing from how you both almost messed it all up, if not for the saving grace of an absolute idiot with the manipulative skills of a toddler. I'm a dude, but if my best friend kissed my wife at a party in the past and sent her pictures on the nights before my wedding, and he was my best man, I can't imagine a scenario where would it be absolutely livid if she didn't tell me, especially if it kept on with him making advances. Either my spouse loves the attention, something more happened that they didn't tell me, or they seriously need to do a much better job of open communication. Seriously, I would be mad if my partner lets me stay BFFs with a duplicitous snake and didn't even warn me. Who knows what other stuff she might be trying to sabotage behind the scenes. Now for the last story. I may have ruined my fiancé's relationship with her parents with my condescending remarks to her sister. Backstory. I, 27 male, have been recently engaged to a sweet girl named Marina, 25 female, fake name. We met during college and we hit it off. Everything went well in our relationship, and overall there were no red flags, and we've been going strong for 3 years now. Except for the fact that she has always kept me away from meeting her family. In my culture, family is important. So when I knew that I was definitely going to marry this girl, I introduced her to my parents and requested that she do the same with me. She was hesitant. It had caused a few small arguments between us, but I've always respected her decision when she said no. I felt bad for a time, like she was going to leave me for someone better, so I mustered up the courage to have an honest heart-to-heart conversation with her. I know it sounds cheesy, but I told her my plans to marry her, basically proposed to her, while spilling my heart out, and in turn, she then told me why she's kept me away from her family. And the reason was her older sister, who we'll call Eva, 27 female, also fake name. Eva has been the family's golden child. She was pretty, smart, blah blah blah, and has always tried to flirt or seduce Marina's previous partners. She had 3 boyfriends before meeting me, all ending in breakups due to Eva, and one of them even slept with her. Marina told me that when she met me, she felt genuinely happy for the first time in a long while, and that she chose to go to a university far from her family to help with her mental health, as her parents never batted an eye when Eva wronged Marina. I was appalled by hearing about her home life, and continued to listen to her talk about her issues and her feelings. After our talk, she said yes to marrying me. I was surprised since it was so sudden, and I wasn't expecting an answer, but I was also ecstatic nonetheless. And I'll be honest, I was literally jumping for joy when I realized we were getting married. I told her that we didn't need to meet her family if she didn't want to, but she insisted that it was okay, and that she loved her parents dearly and wanted me to meet them to get their blessings. The part that I need advice on. Just yesterday, we finally visited her family as COVID restrictions are lifting, and we were both vaccinated. They were very nice people, and I got along well with her parents. Eva was there as well as she was visiting, very convenient timing. And at first, I thought that she was acting very friendly towards me and Marina. Totally not what I was expecting. But soon she starts to compliment me way more, with the way I dress, my field of work being so lucrative, etc., while totally ignoring Marina and trying to steal my attention from her. I would always try to deflect her compliments and include Marina in my conversations with her. Overall, be friendly to her and her family, while keeping my distance. At this point, Marina was getting visibly uncomfortable. So I politely told Eva that I appreciated her comments, but she should turn it down a notch. She agreed, and I thought that was that. Dinner came around and we were all getting to know each other, telling stories and jokes, and then Eva then says something along the lines of, "It's a shame that you're getting married to my boring sister. I would have totally dated you," and tried to laugh it off. And before anyone can say anything, I immediately clapped back with, "The feeling isn't mutual. I definitely wouldn't date you even if I was single," and started to laugh myself. I think this got to Eva because she got upset and immediately left the dinner table without saying a word. Her parents were furious and said that I went too far and that I hurt her feelings. Marina defended me and said that Eva's comments were inappropriate and how she's always tried to steal her previous partners. Marina and her parents went back and forth, and when it was going nowhere, we just decided to leave. Marina got a text from her parents earlier today demanding that we apologize to Eva, and that her comments were just harmless jokes. Marina said I was joking as well, but they said I was being a condescending a-hole to their older daughter, and they are now blaming me and telling Marina that she is being an enabler to a toxic person. Their words, not mine. I am totally confused on what to do next. I never intended to hurt anyone's feelings. I just wanted to defend my future wife. But now I feel like I've strained her relationship with her parents. On one hand, her sister made her uncomfortable. But on the other, if I just kept quiet, none of this would have happened. What can I do to help mend Marina and her parents' relationship? Now for the top advice. Marina knew this is how things would go, obviously. It's why she moved away from her parents and why she didn't want to introduce you to them. Impressing them isn't the priority. Being loyal to Marina is, and you rock that. Let them be mad and follow Marina's lead in all this. It is her family, and it's not up to you to fix their relationship, which you didn't damage. All you did was proclaim your loyalty to your fiancé and say you wouldn't be interested in your fiancé's sister, which in any rational family would be applauded, and likely would never even come up because all of this is ridiculous, through no fault of your own. You did good and have nothing to be ashamed of or feel bad about. Just talk with Marina and support her. Also, Not saying anything may have been what her parents wanted, but I can almost guarantee you that Marina's heart filled with love over you clapping back at her sister like that. And Marina's the one who matters here. Not only did you completely assuage her fears about her sister stealing you from her, but you actually turned the tables on her sister and made her feel bad for once. Which honestly, she seems like she deserves it more. If you had just played along, that little bit of doubt would probably still be there for Marina. I call this a win. I'd be willing to bet this was an enlightening moment for Marina that she will look back on in the future as the time when she knew for sure she'd found the one. What can I do to help mend Marina and her parents' relationship? Nothing. You didn't break it. Her parents did, a long time ago. This visit just followed the family pattern. Eva gets to say and do whatever she wants, no matter who it hurts. But the instant someone pushes back, Eva becomes the victim and her parents take her side. Could you have handled this differently? Sure. You could have replied with, well, I love Marina, or what a thing to say. But I suspect that Eva would have found a way to be offended regardless. Notice how Eva's parents didn't say anything when Eva said that horrible thing? Here's the breakdown. Eva, awful human being. Marina's parents, enabling A-hats. Marina, incredibly normal and grounded despite her obvious dysfunctional family. If Eva went to bits over you rejecting her, then the real world is going to eat her sorry butt alive. If you both choose to not have her parents or Eva at your wedding, no one would blame you. I'm sorry I said I wouldn't date your daughter if I was single. LMAO, right? If he does apologize, he should say something like that. Or, I'm sorry I shut down her flirting so harshly. Or, I'm sorry I wouldn't date someone who stole her sister's boyfriends. I'm sorry, Eva was so wildly inappropriate and caused me to overreact. So, is she apologizing later, or... Update. I broke up with my boyfriend because of his views on cheating. Original post. I don't know what to feel. Me, 25 female, and my boyfriend, 28 male, have been together for 3 years now. And we have been living together for 2 years. I know his family. He has one brother, Sam, 33 male, who is married to Lisa, 32 female. They have one daughter, who is 4 years old. He is very close to his brother, which resulted in me being closer to his wife and kid too. Sam sometimes comes to our place and plays video games with my boyfriend. One day when they were playing video, Sam put his phone and charger in our guest room. I was there cleaning the windows when suddenly his phone buzzed. I went to look and there was someone named Office texting him, "I had a great time last night. Your tongue is magic," with some emojis. I was a little shocked. Sam always shows how much he adores his wife. Even Lisa says he is the best husband. So how could he cheat? This was the first incident. Then one day when he was at our house again, he was talking loudly while I was right by the kitchen, while he was talking on the phone in our guest room with doors open. He was saying "I love you" to someone named Beth. This confirmed my suspicion even more. So I told my boyfriend that I think his brother is cheating on his wife, and I asked him if he knows anything about it. His expression went blank and told me he knew about it. I was perplexed. I asked what does it mean, and he began to tell me Sam has been seeing other girls on the side. He doubled it down saying it is not a big deal because Lisa's happy, he is happy, and plus boyfriend doesn't like to mix in other people's business. I asked him if he thinks that his brother cheating on Lisa was right. How could he defend his brother over something so vile? He told me it is their personal life, plus he doesn't want to ruin his brother's marriage. I told him firmly his brother's marriage was already ruined the moment he decided to stick his junk inside someone else that isn't his wife, and is clearly wrong for supporting him. How would he feel if I was cheating on him and my sister knew and never told him? He said of course he would feel bad, but this isn't about him. I just told him to leave me alone. Cheating is a deal breaker for me. I do not like people who are cheaters or supporting cheating. I can't even look at him the same way I used to. So a few weeks ago, I called him and told him this isn't working. I cannot be with someone who supports cheating and doesn't mind someone else cheating. He cried and told me not to do it. That he will do better and this isn't fair to him. I cannot punish him for what his brother is doing. I told him calmly that this is not a punishment, but my decision. I already told him that cheating is a deal breaker for me. I will not tolerate it in any shape or form. Then I went to stay with my brother. 2 days later, I went to our place to get some stuff of mine. He asked me if he could talk and I said sure. He told me he was wrong for not saying anything against his own brother. Lisa is a good woman and that he would ask his brother to stop. I told him that doesn't make me feel better. The fact that he thinks it is okay to cheat clearly shows he has no problem cheating on me. He told me he is not cheating on me and that he will be better. So I asked him if he could tell Lisa about his husband's affair. He went silent and told me he can't go against his own brother. Well, then I guess he made his choices. I left his place, leaving him crying on his couch. I feel bad. I love him, but the trust I had for him is gone. I do not know how to tell everything to Lisa. I am not sure what to do. I feel lost. Now for the top advice before reading the updates. He literally said cheating is okay as long as the partner is happy. Your boyfriend will end up cheating on you too, claiming it's not wrong as you were happy. You did what you had to do, and I would do the same thing. Best of luck, OP. Oh yeah, he definitely would have cheated in the future. Might already be doing so. No doubt his brother will also be a sniveling mess when Lisa finds out, despite it being solely his fault. It was more like easing the situation as he would not want to be in the middle of a family drama. I just think he chose his words poorly. Congrats on recognizing a moral flaw in his character and realizing he would not make a trustworthy long-term partner. But he is afraid to expose his brother, so he is relying on someone else to do that for him. Tell Lisa her husband is cheating on her and to look up Office and Beth on his phone. It's up to her what she does from there. Don't listen to people who are telling you that your boyfriend is right. He is obviously wrong. If he has no problem his brother cheating on his wife, then he wouldn't have a problem with cheating on you. I hope you tell Lisa about it. Edit/update. To those idiots who says that my boyfriend is not wrong, I hope you find yourself in a similar situation as Lisa. I would like to know how would you feel when you learned that your husband betrayed you and people close to you knew about it and let you get cheated on day after day. He has covered for his brother on many occasions. He has lied to Lisa telling her that Sam is with him when he was not. Even if he didn't, him simply acting it is not a big deal that a woman who is so loyal to her husband is getting cheated on is wrong and malicious in my eyes. Him concealing his cheating is also putting her at risk of STDs. And also, what if Sam got one of those girls pregnant? It's not like they were in an open or poly relationship. But to anyone who is asking, I will tell Lisa. She's currently out of town. I can send her a message, but I have no evidence that Sam is cheating. Plus, she told me she would not be near her phone. Now for the full update. Hello guys, thanks for all the kind words. I wanted to make an update the day after I posted it to reassure you guys I did tell Lisa, but something came up and I was delayed. So, I did tell her the very day I made this post, even though I had no evidence. I got some encouragement from you guys too. For all I knew, she could scream at me. But hey, if that happens, at least I wouldn't have to live with this giant guilt that I misled a friend of mine. I talked to Lisa telling her everything on the phone. She just told me she can't speak right now and thanked me for informing, which was weird. I didn't hear from her for the next 3 days. I only heard from her when my ex called my brother to yell at me. He called me a homewrecker because I snitched to Lisa, and today she took her daughter and served Sam divorce papers. I was even more confused. It's not possible to file a divorce paper within 3 days. So I called Lisa. She didn't pick up, but texted me to come to Sam's house. I went with my brother because I didn't know how safe it is for me. When I entered, I saw my ex, Sam and their parents along with Lisa. Sam looked really awful. My ex jumped on me saying I did this to his brother. Lisa told my ex to calm down. She carries on to explain that she already knew Sam was cheating for a while. One of the girls he hooked up with contacted her and showed her the messages between him and her. That girl worked in his office. The girl felt guilty knowing that she hooked up with a married man, and she told Lisa before quitting her job. I'm guessing she felt really guilty and couldn't work there or something. Lisa further told us she has been planning on leaving Sam since then. She needed time to get her things sorted and gather evidence that will help her in court. She was mostly a homemaker, but worked part-time, so there were financial issues too. She went on to expose Sam even more of his deeds in front of his own parents, and told Sam she wants full custody because Sam bringing one of his women around her daughter is not safe. From what she described, Sam is pretty screwed in the divorce. She also didn't spare my ex. She basically told him she has never treated him like an outsider. that if someone was cheating on him, she would definitely tell him, even if that someone was her own family member. She finds it really sad that she had to know from a stranger what his brother was up to, rather than someone closer to her and someone she loved like a brother. My ex was silent. A lot more things came to light because there were a lot of yelling and pointing fingers. Sam has been cheating on Lisa for 3 years, and my ex knew it for the last 2 years and has been covering Sam. Sam's parents were disappointed at him as well, and apparently my ex also lied to his parents about why we broke up. He told his parents I fell in love with someone else, and that's why I left him. Why he did that? Because his stupid brother thought it was a great cover-up. Because even if I told Lisa, then no one would believe in me because I was the one who cheated and projecting it on his brother. Lisa called me here to clear my name and also thanked me for informing her, even if she knew it all along. Their parents apologized to both of us and told us they're ashamed of their sons. I just felt bad for them. After that, I went home, but Lisa asked me if she could stay with me, and I said sure. She was stoic when she was talking to Sam and his parents, but as soon as she entered my house, she broke down in tears. She told me that she should have listened to her friends who told her Sam was not a decent person. She left her job and her law study so that she could be with him. I felt really bad for her. I know this will be really tough on her and her daughter. I wish there was more I could do, but I'm really impressed that she handled this situation with such poise. I hope she decides to continue her law studies like she wanted to. She sacrificed a lot for that a-hole. Also, to all those people who think that my ex was right not to snitch on his brother, you guys don't see how he is putting her at risk? Sam was sleeping with literally everything that has a hole, and you guys think it would be better to keep her in the dark. I know she knew about it, but what if she didn't? What if Sam's careless philandering put her in danger of STD? Some STDs are life-threatening like HIV. Him not coming clean of his brother's deeds was seriously putting her in danger of it. If I wasn't punishing him, I simply cannot live with someone who would support cheating. To me, that is exactly like cheating. Moreover, he lied and covered for him. Who is to say he wouldn't mind cheating on me because he clearly thinks cheating is not a big deal? Even if he wasn't covering for them, the mere fact that he thinks it is okay for someone to get cheated on is a huge no for me. I am really shocked to see how many people are willing to take the cheater's side instead of the one getting cheated on. He told his parents I fell in love with someone else, and that's why I left him. Why he did that? Because his stupid brother thought it was a great cover-up. Because even if I told Lisa, then no one would believe in me because I was the one who cheated and projecting it on his brother. This is plain evil. Further proving her point that he cannot and should not be trusted. Yeah, these two brothers are rotten to the core. Feel really sad for Lisa, who gave up her studying and career to be with a POS. At least she seems to be well prepared and taking her cheating husband to the cleaners. It's a real shock to me that the parents were apparently decent humans, disappointed in their sons. How did both these a-holes turn out to be such wet farts? Near identical situation to that other recent post, where a guy left his fiancée for casually telling him her cousin had cheated on her husband before they were married, and that it was no big deal. Both sets of cheaters and accomplices suck, and it is delicious to see them get their comeuppance. My brother-in-law's brother would casually cheat on his girlfriend, despite being in a serious relationship, and his whole family acted like it was no big deal. They weren't married, so it was just youthful hijinks. I thought it was a worrying attitude, but my sister brushed it off as him being a black sheep. And of course, my brother-in-law, the good son, wouldn't cheat. It would have been nice if she was right. People who would never betray their partner generally don't condone it or find it funny when other people do it. Last story. I, 39, resent my 38 female stay-at-home wife. My wife has been a stay-at-home mom for the past 14 years. She went back to work last year, 2022. At the beginning of this year, 2023, she decided to reduce her hours. And I said, fine, do whatever you need to do. Well, she reduced her hours to 0. Last I checked, 0 hours meant that you quit your job. But what do I know? She tells me she has a job. At the same time, my wife decided to diagnose herself with depression. Not depression, but depression. But she refuses to even say it right. She also decides to completely stop driving due to her anxiety. So to say I was blindsided was an understatement. We did a couples counseling for a few years prior to COVID and things were good. Now, when I say you might want to get back into therapy, she made it clear it doesn't work, and that I need therapy since I'm an a-hole. In the middle of all this, she made it clear that I didn't do anything at home, and that I need to step up at home. Well, I was working from home, but since COVID is now over, I am back in the office and out of the house 10 to 12 hours a day. I find it hard to do laundry or take the kids to school from my desk. I also do not have the privilege of getting the kids on the bus at 8 a.m. and be home to get them off at the bus at 3. I made it clear I can support the morning, but not the afternoon. And I found out she wants me home both sides now. So yeah, my wife has anxiety stopping her from driving. She has depression she refuses to get help for. She has a job that she now works 0 hours a week, and somehow I need to do more work at home to make her happy. I really try to talk to her about this, but she just chooses to change the subject to how her job is harder than mine, and men don't do enough for her around the house. I even got forced to do all the food shopping since she won't leave the house. I go to Walmart twice a week, and it is 5 minutes from the house. I drive the kids to all the programs she signed them up for, and I cook dinner 4 nights a week. I felt taken advantage of by someone who doesn't understand that doing laundry twice a week isn't a $30K a year job. Yes, she puts the kids on the bus, but now that she reduced her hours to 0, I get told she has a job and takes care of the house and kids on her own. So can I forcibly get her to get a different job? This entire I can't drive with anxiety but does not help is driving me mad. Honestly, I'm ready to make my job 0 hours since work keeps getting in the way of everything I need to do at the house. Unfortunately, my kids like food and my wife loves the internet, so if I quit, the merry-go-round stops. Now for the advice. You can't make her do anything. You do have choices, however. You can choose to stay and deal with this, or you can choose to end the marriage. Part of our job as parents is to demonstrate healthy relationships for our kids to model. Even if you're not openly arguing in front of your kids, they pick up on tension. And being around that kind of conflict can increase their odds of developing anxiety disorders and other mental health issues. Obviously, your wife needs mental health support. If she were actively trying to work on that, it would be one thing, but she's refusing to address it with a professional. It is not uncommon for women at her age to begin to experience the effects of perimenopause, which can kick off or exacerbate anxiety and depression due to hormonal imbalances. She really should discuss with her doctor. But if she refuses them again, it's up to you to decide if you want to stay or go. In sickness and in health no longer applies if someone refuses to pursue treatment. In my humble opinion, of course. Exactly. It is in sickness and in health when we're both putting in the effort. And once one party stops putting in the effort, it's all up in the air from there. I'm sorry, but the depression part made me lol. I said it out loud when I read it. It instantly understood why it annoys Opie so much. She will randomly curl up in a ball on the couch and cry just to cry. Then say, I wish things were different. My favorite is when she tells me, if you really loved me, you never would have let me stay home with the kids. Now, I don't know how to process that, but at least she tries to tell me what is wrong. Honestly, this sounds so frustrating. Can any family or friends help with some sort of intervention? She really needs to do something to help herself. And if she doesn't, it's maybe time to consider if the marriage is over. Now a chance of her family helping. Her father has dementia and lives in a home. He has no idea who we are. Her mother hates me and doesn't even try to hide it. Her brother cut off the entire family after becoming a woman 3 years ago. We only see this one at Christmas when they/them ask for money. It's our Christmas present to give money. Her one sister married a super rich New York doctor and openly tells everyone how horrible men are. Most of it comes from her husband not helping her with the kids when they were little. She hates men. Very funny situation with 2 boys in middle school, and her taking trips alone to Europe on his money. The advice she gives my wife is, just make your husband do it since I know he doesn't do anything useful. She used to be a teacher when we live in the South, but does not qualify in New York since she doesn't have college credits in teaching. She was substitute in local school, but she cut her hours. Update. During Thanksgiving, I, 25 male, realized that 3 years ago I had slept with my girlfriend's married cousin, 29 female. Now I need to know who to talk to first. Original post. I met my girlfriend Jessie, 25 female, 3 years ago while we were both in college. I had just gotten out of rehab for a very serious addiction. She helped me stay clear of any substances and has been the reason why I am alive today. I truly feel that I owe her my life. This year we spent Thanksgiving at her grandparents' house along with her family. When we arrived, I met some of her cousins and who one seemed familiar. This was Samantha, who I thought I knew from around campus when she attended the same college as Jessie and I. She had moved out of state 5 years ago to live with her husband and was back for Thanksgiving now with her 2 kids. After the dinner, all of the younger cousins went outside to talk. It was myself, Jessie, Sam, her husband Ricky, and 2 more of their cousins. We all started to talk about music and the theme of music festivals came up. I talked about a music festival that I have been attending for the past 6 years. Sam and Ricky also went to that festival 4 years ago, and Sam went with her friends the next year. It wasn't until they showed me pictures of when Sam went that I remembered where I knew her from. During the year that Sam went with her friends, I happened to run into her with some friends. I had shoulder-length hair, was pale, and probably weighed 150 pounds while being 6'2". I now have short hair, tanner skin, with tattoos and with about 50 pounds of muscle. I am unrecognizable now. A lot of my memories from those years are pretty bad, but what I do remember is that when we met up with her group of friends, we all got really friendly. It was 3 girls and 4 of us. We had rented a suite for the weekend and decided to invite the girls over. Due to a mixture of coke, alcohol, and MDMA, I can't remember who had slept with who, but I think that I might have hooked up with Sam, and another one of my friends joined us, or I joined him. All I know is that myself and another guy did it with Sam one night, and my friends did it with her the next night. The worst part is that during those days I never wore protection, and I am sure that neither did my friend. I don't know if we finished inside her or not, but the possibility exists. Sam and her husband have been married for 5 years, and have a 2-year-old and a newborn. I am definitely going to inform Ricky about what happened, but my only concern is what will happen with Jessie. I can't bear the possibility of losing her. She has been what has kept me sober throughout all these years. She has been the angel on my shoulder that has kept me out of trouble. Sam still has the same tattoo on her shoulder, so I am 100% sure that it was her. In one of her pictures from the festival, I am in the background with my back to the camera talking to my friends. I pretty much have no evidence to support my claims, and if I confront Sam alone, she will just deny it. I'm sure she doesn't even recognize me. What do I do? Who do I talk to? Should I even bother? Now for the top advice before reading the update. I would talk to your girlfriend before anyone else. Yes, I'll talk to her today and ask what she wants to do. Stay out of it. This isn't your confession, it's Samantha's. If I'm reading the dates right, you didn't do anything you need to apologize to your girlfriend about, and you're possibly going to wreck the lives of 3 people if you blab. That would probably feel like trash if I just stayed quiet. Wouldn't you want to know if your wife hooked up with 2 random guys and let them finish inside her while you thought she was out with her friends? She put her husband at risk of any STDs. Thankfully, I'm clean and had already finished before my friend went in, but I don't know if he was clean. I admit that I hate the stay out of it comments whenever I see them. Telling someone is the right thing to do. Honestly, while I'm normally one for calling out cheaters, this could ruin your own life. Heck, the older kid could even be yours. And given the time that has passed, I would be tempted to let sleeping dogs lie. That said, the right thing to do is to come completely clean to your girlfriend and discuss with her the best course of action. I'd probably downplay the MFM part and just confirm you had slept with Sam. I have dark brown eyes and hair, and my friend was black. The kid is super blonde with a green eye like her dad. This is kind of hard to say what to do. You really have no idea what kind of relationship they have. Some couples enjoy this kind of thing. Clearly it isn't your cup of tea. I'd mind your own business on this one. If it's their cup of tea, then her husband won't mind being told. If it isn't, then he should eventually be glad to know the truth. The kind of people that tend to advise mind your own business are typically the kind that are apprehensive of the outcome for the wrong reasons. Fear/selfishness. And now for the update. Although I only got a few responses, I was surprised at the fact that 50% of the commenters said to just keep it a secret. Personally, I kind of have morals, so I decided that I was going to tell Jessie, then tell Rick. I had someone say that the times aligned with the chance that the oldest child could be mine, since my friend and I didn't use protection when we did it with Sam. But genetically, the baby doesn't look like me, and my friend is black. During early December, I got in contact with said friend and explained the situation. I asked him about that night. He wasn't able to remember much, but does remember that we didn't use rubbers with Sam and that we both finished inside her. I was still thinking on how to approach Jesse about this, when later that night Joe called me back telling me that he had some pictures from the festival weekend. There were 2 pictures where you could see both Sam and I. One was me in the suite's bathroom wiping blood from my nose, and Sam was behind standing near me. The second picture was Sam sitting on the lap of the third guy she slept with on the second day. There were a few more pictures of Sam and her friends. I got everything I had and called Jessie over the next day. I sat her down and told her everything as best as I could remember. She was devastated when I showed her the pictures. She was angry at me, but decided that she just needed some time to think. I gave her some time and explained to her that I wanted to be honest as possible with her. I told her that I am forever thankful for her help during my rehab and recovery. That I wanted to tell her about this because I see a future with her, and I could not hide something like this from her. I couldn't risk it coming out in the open later when we are more committed. I informed her that I was planning on telling Rick, but she was adamant about keeping that a secret. I asked her that if she was in his shoes, how would she feel? She agreed, but said to give her some space to think. We didn't talk much for a week, and on Christmas we met up with her family. Sam and Rick attended Christmas with Rick's family, so they could not attend. Sam and Rick came back for New Year's, and that is when I decided to confront them. Jessie and I had a long talk about how I would do this. She wanted to do it anonymously, but I told her that it wouldn't work. I told her that I would invite Rick to a bar on Sunday to watch some football. That Sunday, Rick and I went to the bar, and I waited until the end of the game to talk about it. I asked him if we could go to my apartment to talk about something serious. He had a weird look in his face, but agreed. When we arrived at my place, I told him about my past. I then told him everything about the encounter I had with Sam. I showed him the pictures and gave him all of the information I had. Rick's face went pale when I told him that both my friend and I finished inside her. I could see his hands shaking. He asked how many other people did she sleep with, and I told him that as far as I knew, there were only myself and the other 2. I asked him if she was on birth control at the time, because if not, there might be a possibility that she might have gotten pregnant that week. He couldn't remember if she was at the time, but a few weeks later she was pregnant. That is when he said he had enough and just got up and left. 5 minutes later, he texted me asking for the pictures. I sent them to him and told him that out of respect I had to tell him, and that he needed to know about the health risk that Sam had put him in. Now, Sam and the kids were staying at Jesse's apartment. Jesse told me that when Rick arrived, he just told Sam to pack their things and that they were leaving. Sam didn't want to leave and asked why he was angry, but Rick just said they would talk when they got home. Sam was not having any of it and demanded to know why. They began to argue, and Jesse took the kids into their bedroom. A couple minutes later, Sam and Rick came into Jesse's bedroom for the kids, and they told her that they were leaving. Sam was crying and Rick was very upset. Jesse asked what was happening. Rick told Sam to put their stuff in the car while he explained. Rick went over the whole situation, and Jesse corroborated the story he had told her. A few days later, Rick called me to talk about everything. He had been in a rut and moved into an apartment while he set up an appointment with a lawyer. After getting home from the trip, Rick grilled into Sam about everything that happened. She started to confess, but only little by little. She had apparently had another affair a year ago while on a trip with some friends. Rick had sent for a paternity test for his oldest kid, but after a few days he sent another for his youngest. A week ago he posted on Facebook that he and Sam were getting a divorce, and that he is not the father of the youngest kid. Jesse's grandma really dislikes me now for ruining Sam's marriage, since she's old school Catholic and doesn't believe in divorce. Jesse and I have been working on ourselves and have been going to couples counseling to deal with this. It has been a bit rough over the past 2 months, but I feel good about my actions and I hope Jesse can understand. You did good, man. Real proud of you. Not many would have the guts to do the right thing. And as far as Jesse's grandma's concerned, if she acts up, ask her next time if she believes in vows of fidelity. I think this should be the sub's new response to this kind of blanket religious statement people make about not believing in divorce. I'm religious myself, but there's a limit to everything naturally, and I most certainly wouldn't tell anyone to stay married if they want a divorce, whatever their reason may be. I'm just sick of people playing up the religious angle when talking about preserving marriages, while they're all too keen on ignoring the vows exchanged when said marriage was literally just starting. Or how they eagerly jump to overlook the vow about fidelity, respect, and so on, while trying to force the innocent party to stay in marriage due to the in sickness and in health, or for better for worse part of the vows. Sam ruined her own marriage. All you did was be honest. Grandma needs a reality check, and also to read her Bible more carefully because adultery is explicitly named as grounds for divorce in there. I will never understand that thought process. Don't blame the person who broke the vow of fidelity. Don't even blame the spouse that is seeking the divorce. I'll blame the one person in this situation that you could argue has any integrity. If only they were a liar as well, none of this would have happened. He is not the father of the youngest kid. Oh man, that hits like a ton of cheating bricks. I feel for Rick. Sam has ruined a bunch of lives. Yeah, that was what got to me the most. The time that I had spent with Rick showed me that he is such a nice guy. He truly didn't deserve any of this. Now for the last story. My wife got violated by a family friend and now Christmas is a mess. I'll try to keep this as brief as possible. My wife is one of 3 sisters. One of her sisters has some friends who are essentially part of our family. They are at every birthday, holiday, etc. My wife and her sisters have known them for years, and there has never been an issue like this come up. I'll refer to these people as Jane and John. Me, my wife, her sister and husband, and Jane and John were all out one night drinking at a bar several months ago. We all had a decent time, and were packing into the car to head home for the night, but decided we'd continue drinking at Jane's house. Shortly after arriving there, I could tell my wife wasn't feeling well, and I suggested we went home. Once home, I realized it wasn't that she wasn't feeling well, but rather that she was very disturbed and upset by something. It took a while for her to open up to me, but once she did, she proceeded to tell me what had happened earlier. When we all loaded into the car to leave the bar, she had been sitting in the back seat next to John. I was in the front, so had no idea any of this had happened until she told me. At some point during the ride, John had aggressively slipped his hand under her dress, attempting to feel between her legs. She swatted his hand away, but he persisted, until at some point he gave up. My wife was in utter shock, and froze up when this was happening. Combined with the loud music and various conversations that were going on, none of the 4 other people in the car had any idea this was going on, including John's wife who was in the front seat next to me. When my wife had relayed the entire story to me, I was furious, hurt, and confused all at the same time. I was mostly hurting for her as this individual was almost like a brother to her, and I just didn't know what I could do to make it better. Of course, I wanted to defend her honor, but we have 2 young kids, and I cannot go out for vengeance. I have a family to take care of. I just didn't know how to help her other than listen and be there for her. My wife mentioned that she had told her sister and Jane what had happened once we arrived at Jane's house, so at this point, everyone that had been present that night now knew what had happened. The next day, my wife got a call from John who gave some half-baked apology claiming he was drunk and didn't remember doing anything. Then the story changed to he was looking for his seatbelt or something. We instantly cut contact with John and Jane, but here's the crux of the issue. Jane is the best friend of my wife's sister who was present that night, and they were very much have continued their relationship as if nothing had happened. Jane and John are still invited to pretty much every family event, holiday, etc. And with that being the case, my wife is essentially by default excluded now. My wife and me and our kids will not attend anything where John is present. My wife has expressed to her sister how hurtful it is that she continues to have these people around after what has happened. But it's become evident that the sister values her relationship with these people more highly than with her sister. This whole thing opened up again just this past week, when my wife and sister were planning out how we were going to handle the holidays, as this will be the first holiday season since this happened. The plan was that my sister-in-law would have Thanksgiving with her own family and include John and Jane, and several other of their friends, while my wife and I would host her other sister and her family, my mother-in-law and several other family members. Then we came to find out that her sister had invited literally the whole family to her home for Thanksgiving, and not inviting us, obviously knowing that we wouldn't come because John would be there. My wife was furious when this happened, and then decided to tell the rest of her family what happened that night, and why we haven't been around for anything lately. Now that everyone knows, and John and Jane know that everyone knows, crap has hit the fan. My sister-in-law has been on a campaign to discredit and bash my wife, telling everyone that's recently found out that it's a lie, that my wife was asking for it, etc. She has said some truly callous and disgusting things about my wife, and even made implications that I was planning on retaliating against John violently. My wife and I have been at a complete and total loss as to why her sister is acting like this. My wife has now blocked her sister and her family, and any holiday plans we had are now screwed. I'm so disappointed with my sister-in-law's behavior. I'm not sure what I can do at this point without making the situation worse. This is pretty screwed up, and I'm sure there's ways I could have helped more, but any advice is appreciated. Now for the advice. Oh, John remembers. The fact he called shows he's in damage control and tried to blame being drunk, which is not an excuse. It goes to show where their allegiances are when John decided to do that to your wife. Your sister-in-law doesn't hold John accountable for his actions and decides to say your wife was asking for it? I would be completely disgusted with her. To add to this, the rest of the family has shown their true colors. As hard as it may be for you and your wife especially, it's better that this is out in the open. If what I am interpreting is correct, they're all kinda screwed for enabling John and siding with him over blood family. Is that a family that you want your kids around? You want your wife exposed to that BS? I know that families do a lot of weird, unexplainable things, but this is over the top bad, and something that you both should take as then revealing who they really are and what is actually important to them. I hope Opie's side of the family isn't as weird in the head. Make your own traditions. Your sister-in-law sounds toxic, and everyone else that supports this kind of behavior is also toxic. Do something to make this year special without them. You can't change them, but you can move on. Organize your own event and invite the people who still are on your side. If they come or not is okay. Take the opportunity to do everything the way you and your wife wanted and be happy. The best revenge against these people are leaving them behind, and when they come asking for help, remind them that they burned that bridge long ago.